Hi friends, I wanted to hop on here quickly for a few shopping updates. I have lists prepared and I wanted to run them by you, those changes, as well as comparisons, because one of you had brought to my attention that I failed to compare the newly released Sonia Tradition series Kakishibu face brush with her Mount Fuji brush. I completely forgot about the Mount Fuji brush because this was a holiday 2022 release. It was limited. Doesn't matter though. Thank goodness for Sonia's blog to help me get to those details. And again, timestamps are down below if you want to head over to that portion of the video when I chat about that comparison. And Natasha Denona just released exclusively on the Sephora app her I Need a Warm palette just after I filmed my Natasha Denona top 5 middies. Fine. If you want to check out that video, I'll post a link up above and down below. But conceptually, when you see the palette compact design straight from I Need a Nude and I Need a Warm is basically this format but warmer. I say it's a more desaturated My Dream, because when I saw I Need a Warm, it had the peaches and the roses, the rose golds and the coppers. Definitely a little more muted than what's found in My Dream. Some people have even said it's a muted bronze. I wouldn't say it's a muted bronze, even though bronze is considered warm. Yes, those shades, if muted, I think will appear more reddish tone and not rosy pink as it appears in I Need a Warm. And also this palette is debuting 2 new formulas from Natasha Denona. It's called Slip Cream. I'm not entirely sure if that will replace her cream to powder matte. It is a matte powder, but slippy. And her Metal Gloss. Whoa, excited to see those 2 in action. I did order the palette. It is on its way, slated to arrive on Wednesday. We'll love to get the video up as soon as possible, fam, but you know how life is, and I am a one-woman show who gathers the makeup and my own artistic director. I film, I swatch, I put on, I edit. So it might take me a day and a half, but I will make sure to get it up as quickly as possible. You might have noticed I don't have any makeup on. I thought maybe I could just slap on some makeup loosely as we go into the first part of this video, and that is my my Shrinking Dior Beauty shopping list. In the basket, I originally had the foundation stick, the contour stick, as well as one of the 5 color palettes in Plum Tutu, the Will Dior blush duo with that beautiful wine blush, and the Dior Maximizer in Mahogany. I am combining Lisa's skin tint with Haus Labs, and I'm just gonna just like this, because this is kind of what I've been doing. I've been just mixing the 2 together and using my fingers to apply the cocktail. And should I move in a little closer? That's enough. 2 of you had said that the Dior foundation stick is like perfumey. And I knew that because it's Dior and historically their complexion products are heavily fragranced, but I thought I would take a chance and thought maybe it wouldn't be that bad. If you guys said it's too perfumey for you and you are not particularly sensitive to fragrance like I am, I can't even imagine the impact, the negative impact it will have on my nostrils. So I deleted it. Goodbye. And I also deleted the contour stick. When you look at the price, the contour stick is only $3 less than the foundation stick. I don't use contour at all. And the reason why I plopped it in the basket is because I thought the shade, the undertone was appealing, but one of you had said that it looks a little too gray, and I don't even do contour like that, so I'm not entirely sure why I would just shift gears for one product. I've just been actually heavily relying on blush, and I just got the YSL bronzer, which is like a tawny type of neutral shade. It's gorgeous and totally can kind of get away with that bronzer for contouring purposes if I insisted upon it. But no way. I can't spend $40-something, $47, however much it costs, on a product that I would just use sparingly. It just doesn't make sense. So it's out. The 3 remaining are the eyeshadow palette, which I definitely will use the Will Dior Blush Duo with that beautiful Bordeaux color and the Lip Maximizer in Mahogany. So that is where we're looking. We're down to 158. Before it was like 257. So not bad. Just taking off those sticks bumped it down $100. So that's where it sits. I don't think it will grow from there, and that's going to be the finalized shopping list for Dior Beauty. I could get another blush duo. I was looking at like the pink, but as I'm speaking, I have my Suqqu blush that is beautifully pink in this gorgeous blurring formula. And yes, even though the shades look gorgeous on the Dior colorways, I don't have a lot of berry, you know what I mean? So that's why I wanted my selection to be special in that regard. Also, I did not know this, but thank goodness for being on Addiciton Tokyo's email list, which by the way, they denied my affiliate application because I don't have a beauty website where I run beauty ads on. My website is mainly for my coaching business, my online coaching business that is not in beauty. I guess when they saw I don't have a dedicated beauty website, although I thought I linked my YouTube channel to the application when it prompted me to do so, they denied me. So I wrote back and kindly asked what was the reason. And I included not only my YouTube channel, but specifically the Addiciton Tokyo video I filmed. And I'm like, can you please make an exception? I know I'm not your typical full-time beauty blogger, but I can influence. And it would be nice to get a return on my investment if someone chooses to buy Addiciton Tokyo because they saw my video. I would like a little bit of kickback from that. Thank you so much, friends. So we're standing by, family. I most certainly will let you know if there are any updates on that. Also, what I learned upon receiving their emails is that they have a pop-up here in New York City at Bloomies featuring their newer collection release, the Italian embroidery something. I had my eye on one quad because they have a lot of quads. The colors are quite soft and subdued. I had my eye on the Sage one, as well as one of their eye pencils. So that's, if I were to get anything, or excuse me, buy anything, it will be one of the eye pencils in, I think it's called City Dust. It was like a greenish gray. Maybe a charcoal is more accurate. And the quad with either the Sage Green, because I just envisioned myself plopping that shade all over the eye and calling it a day and just having that smoky sagey olive eye one and done. And their lip products, those thinner lip slim lipsticks, I'm not entirely sure what the formula is or what it's supposed to do, but the shades were just right on my alley. Okay, Mount Fuji versus the newly released Traditions Face 1. Allow me to pull up the page where Sonia describes this comparison as follows. The Mount Fuji brush, a special release for holiday 2022, is very similar to the TF1. Similar in size and airiness, they cover exactly the same purpose. However, the TF1 feels slightly softer and airier, but this feeling also can depend on the batch. The shape at the top is a little bit flatter on the TF1, but this also depends on the batch. If you have a holiday Mount Fuji and find it too big, the TF1 will definitely also be too big. I felt that as well. I thought the Mount Fuji brush was a little more round, and granted, this poor brush was in my BK Beauty brush bag, not the brush bag's fault. Even if I placed this in something else, I would have had to place a sleeve over it. It would have been compacted in some way. All that to say, it might seem like the Mount Fuji is more dense, but there is a little bit of airiness here from the TF1, and you can definitely feel there's more body from the Mount Fuji brush. And like Sonia had written, if you thought this was far too large for any of your makeup tasks, then TF1, a little more precise in that regard. I definitely feel from the two. Well, you know what? Let me put both of them in action. How about that? And I feel the dyeing is a little different. So you see that? These bristles are so much more white near the base, whereas the dye I feel bleeds lower near the ferrule. But we're gonna hop into our new baby bronzer. Let's go in with TF1 first, and I'll just hit the hollows. Oh. I underestimated. I mean, I reviewed this brush in full. You can check out that video if you like. It got major pickup. You saw how I was very liberal with that swirl and how it delivered in Suqqu. Okay, I'm gonna be a little more conservative with how much I pick up with Mount Fuji here. But the placement still is fantastic. I'm still able to achieve that beautiful blown out effect with my bronzer product here, you know, okay? And of course, if you have, look at me trying to do synchronized blending. If you have the Mount Fuji brush, you might not need the TF1. But if you want something more airy, then that's what the TF1 will deliver. But as Sonia said, because these are handmade, depending on the batch, you might experience that, you might not. I think it's great that she brought back a similarly designed brush from one that was discontinued, as it was limited for holiday 2022. And you have different wood. Maybe from an aesthetic standpoint, you prefer the Kiyaki wood over this wood. Is it walnut? I can't recall. I have to go back on that original blog post. All that to say, I love them both. And also, the Mount Fuji brush came with its own stand, right? To replicate the volcano vibe of things. We got to put on some blush though, and we're definitely going in to our TF2. And let me slap on Suqqu's blush because I adore this shade. Oh, you know what I want to do? Let me slap this on first. Hold on. Because I do have my Hourglass on standby, and I just wanted to see how it will fare if I apply the powder first and then decided to slap on the Hourglass. And I'm just doing like a drop-ish and a half, because this stuff goes a long way. And let's see how this does with the finger application, because in my original video where I plopped this on for the first time, I used a brush. I think it was my Refer foundation brush. One of the ways I know a product is immaculate is where you can successfully apply it with fingers and it doesn't appear splotchy or uneven in any way. Because sometimes when you plop down with fingers, the fingers can pick up product from underneath, but not this. This looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm looking sunburnt and I love it. And the hair is wrapped because I doused it with jojoba oil because it's wash day today. We need some lips. Hold on. Let's slap on some Noisette. This is kind of how my makeup routine would go if I am aiming for a no makeup look. Brows, bronzer perhaps, but because I just got the YSL for sure, and blush with the lip. Very easy peasy. Now, I actually brought along, and you probably already saw this in my short showcasing Sonia's Traditions Face Series set. I love this Anastasia palette. It is the Nouveau palette, and I'm not entirely sure if it was the first one to showcase this new format from ABH with the bigger pan sizes and whatnot. I think this is one of her best curations. I think it's genius in terms of it capturing the inspiration from the Art Nouveau era, which you could research and immediately recognize why the inspiration is just dead on. So I thought, why not to end the video, because I think I covered everything I wanted, went over my Dior updated list. Definitely will visit Bloomingdale's and the Addiciton Tokyo pop-up, because wouldn't it just be a joy to finally swatch everything in person? I just want to get all the fingers and the powders, and highly anticipating I Need a Warm. Can't wait to get into that palette. But now to bring everything together, I'll just do what I was thinking about creating with the Addiciton Tokyo palette. Although this shade Liberty is definitely more on the khaki side. Just based on the Addiciton Tokyo photo here, that green appears to be more like a forest green in terms of how it appears, but I thought from all those quads, because I got a lot of Suqqu quads, okay? I thought that for sure there's a Suqqu quad that corresponds to several of those Addiciton Tokyo ones, you know what I mean? And in terms of, again, uniqueness, and this is why it's important, I think before I make that purchase that I go through my Suqqu quads and I see what I have, see what similarities I come across, and I think that will just validate my choice even more. So when I get there, because you know that happens where you're excited about everything that's happening, that you're surrounded by the employees, they're like, oh my goodness, this and that is so great. You just get seduced, all right? I 100% know that will happen to me. I want to go in with a more prepared mindset, going in with hope, just so that I can stand 10 toes down and be like, I don't need this. I just came here for one thing. Well, two things. As I mentioned, I wanted to buy the eyeliner. I'm not entirely sure though if they were allowed to bring the polishes over. That would be neat because I did have my eye on one polish shade, so that would be pretty cool. That I would buy. So 3. I would like to leave the counter with 3 products. Lily's next, and I think I'm good with that. I'm just gonna put some hope here on the majority of my lash line just so it can appear a little more smoky, because this is what I'm thinking. Even with these shadows, I could throw on Addiciton Tokyo City Dust and I think it will bring everything together. There is another shade that is more green leaning, but I thought having the more charcoal shade would just pair with more eyeshadows that I have in my collection. All right, let me throw on some lashes and I'll be right back. And here are some close-ups of the final look as I pulled you through my updates and whatnot. I'm excited for I Need a Warm because those shades are right up my alley, and I had written on my IG posts on stories that it reminded me of Byredo's Remembrance, because Remembrance has those warm roses, peachy coral tones that I absolutely adore, and most definitely will make that comparison when I Need a Warm arrives. And also will keep you updated on the Dior purchase. I think those 3 items that I had outlined before are coming home. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but the basket is waiting. Those 3 products from Addiciton Tokyo that I'm contemplating on, even if I walk away with nothing, because that's also a possibility. I would love to still visit the pop-up because I think it's a lot of fun. Despite me going through this low buy, I still love to shop, but I think the evolution I'm trying to establish is me going into places and not feeling pressured to buy exorbitantly. I don't want to be excessive about it, but be more thoughtful and mindful with my purchases so I can have a great experience and walk away not feeling guilty that I had to like use a credit card or whatnot. That's what we're trying to avoid. And hopefully the Mount Fuji and TF1 brush comparisons helped you out. My apologies for not including that in the original video. And again, if you haven't watched that one yet, I will have it linked down below so you could check it out. And stay tuned for more brush videos. Bobo Doe was kind in sending me another gift, so that's coming up, as well as a new release from Islynyc. Thank you for watching all the way through. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like, maybe subscribe so you can see more of me on your feed. Hope to see you in the next video. Until then, I'll see you soon.